Hello and welcome back to Fujitsu World Tour London 2018. Well, we ventured outside to take a look at this beaut. This is Bloodhound, a wonderful piece of engineering. She's aiming to set a new land speed record in 2020. Apparently capable of going up to 1,000 miles per hour. I was talking to one of the engineers earlier. Just to put that into context for you. You're all familiar with the size of a football pitch. Watching the football last night, you would have blinked occasionally. Well, at 1,000 miles per hour, a blink will take you from one end of the football pitch to the other. Just staggering, that reference point. But to build something like this, you need amazing science, technology, engineering and maths. STEM, it's a subject of the moment, and for good reason. We're going to delve into this now as we talk education. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. With me, we've got Ash Merchant from Fujitsu, Dan Sides, Steve Cornter, Jonathan Fogg. Thank you all for taking the time out. Let's start with technology. Changing technology, changing times. I guess that brings opportunity, but also challenge in how we deliver technology, respond to that technology. How's education doing at the moment?
Yeah, it's a huge challenge to stay pace in the education world. The obvious challenges, such as the challenge of funds needed to stay cutting edge, and also the challenge that's our most important factor is to keep our students safe at all times. So we want to enable technology, but we want to enable it in a safe way. So these are challenges that we have to overcome to ensure that we can get the benefits of the latest developments in technology in the classroom.
I guess, as is the case with all industry, there will be those education bodies that are delivering this well. There'll be those that realise they need to, but aren't able to for whatever reason. Possibly those that don't realise the demand and need for change at the moment. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I work in an educational a university technical college in Newcastle, and we are designed to deliver on technology. So technology is front and centre, but there'll be establishments out there, traditionally excellent schools with perhaps a more classic approach to education that maybe are slipping a bit behind cutting edge technology and have to do a bit of catch up.
Ash, let's just come to you. So I know you've been working within the education arena for quite some time with Fujitsu. So you must be well placed to observe the change and the speed at which change is kicking up.
Absolutely, and I think the pace of change is incredible, particularly just all of our lives as well, in the way that technology is driving that change. And for us, what we decided many years ago is to ensure that there was a strong collaboration between education and industry. We certainly believe that learning and innovation goes hand in hand. And unless we ensure that young people who are coming through our education system have access to technology, then we often hear about the struggles of digital skills coming through, for example, from education. In order to bridge that skills gap, we have to work hand in hand with education. And today, the days of one size fits all, I think they're receding. Technology means different things to different individuals, but ultimately it should hopefully level the playing field to allow young people to have the right skills through education to prepare them as they go into employment, which is now so dramatically changing with some of the technologies you've just talked about: artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, cyber, augmented reality, robotics, programming. All of these technologies are impacting not only the jobs today, but obviously the jobs of tomorrow. But what the challenge often happens is education doesn't have the same experience that industry have. So that need for collaboration is vital if we're going to do things, not only to bridge the topics of STEM that we talk about, how do we get girls more interested in taking up science subjects, which I think is key to everything that we all talk about. But also there's issues around inclusion and diversity. Every child matters, and I think in a digital economy, that gives accessibility to all opportunities. So one of the things that we're really key about is ensuring that ambassadors, like the three that we have here, have access to the best-in-class technology, but also they're enabled to use it and teach it in a way that actually will empower young people to impact their own futures and raise aspirations within our communities.
I think it's worth saying anyone that followed the footage of the RAF 100 on Facebook Live broadcast Fujitsu did earlier in the week, you'll be aware that the current stats around secondary education with STEM show 74% of girls, 56% of boys turning their back on STEM. 36% of those students are saying that's because they don't understand where their careers are going to lead to. Jonathan, let's talk to you, because I know you've got some equally alarming statistics within the area of education you work.
Yeah, I work exclusively with visually impaired and blind students, and only 1 in 4 of visually impaired people who are eligible for employment are in employment, which I think is a shocking statistic. Visual impairment is a low incidence disability. It's about 0.4% of the population, but they make up 1% of the programming community, which is hugely disproportionate and really, really good. And it's an area that industry should really, really engage with and tap into and make the most of.
I know you're very much on the front foot with delivering the awareness, but what more do we need to be doing as a society to help deliver these messages and help support this initiative? Because those statistics are, I mean, you're right, they're shocking. They need addressing.
I think we need a step change in society to become inclusive. It's not about a tick box exercise, a quota for industry. It's about what Fujitsu are doing. It's about putting inclusion at the heart of what they want to be as an organisation. And the way that they've engaged with my students has really enthused them. The opportunity that it gives my students, and just that sense that there are organisations out there that care about them, that want them to succeed and want to be involved in their lives, is just so valuable.
Steve, let's talk about learning through fun. So I think we can all agree, we know when students get hands-on with something, their memory recall, their ability to remember a moment, it goes up significantly. How important is it that we allow students to get hands-on with technology when they're being educated?
Yeah, it's highly important. Digital is a great enabler. It kind of gives us a level playing field, so it allows full inclusivity, especially in an area such as us where we have high deprivation, and we have a lot of students coming through to us that haven't had access to some of the technology that we now have. I think a key thing for me is opportunity, and repeating something that Ash said, is that, you know, we can't do this on our own, and working with partners such as Fujitsu enables us to get access to that equipment and then gives our student that opportunity. But as you quite rightly said, it is about letting them experiment and use the equipment, not be too frightened of a bit of failure, because that helps to learn, but teaching dexterity skills that they might not have got in their earlier part of their education.
Dan, educators got it tough at the moment. I mean, we know student numbers are on the rise. You've got curriculum to deliver, targets to reach.
Yeah.
You can't do this on your own. You need support from the outside world to help deliver on these challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's some really good work happening, bringing industry into the classroom nationally. And there was a report called the Gatsby Report that was actually piloted in the Northeast that has now resulted in a set of benchmarks that all schools must have meaningful experiences with industry, bringing industry into the classroom, for example. And it's just a simple contact of students with industry that helps spark inspiration and think that this could be a career for me. It is a start. There's definitely a lot more work to do in the UTC movement that I'm part of, which is 50 national colleges nationally. Industry engagement is really central to what we do. It's kind of our USP. That is how we attract students, and that message has been very, very powerful. And the evidence that when you put industry partnerships central to your education model, the impact it has on the destinations of young people, so what they do after they finish your program of study, and the much reduced numbers, almost to zero, of students who are what we call NEET, not in education, employment or training. So there's very strong anecdotal and statistical evidence that when you put industry partnerships at the centre of your educational model, it will have positive results for the destination of young people. And to me, I think good grades are really important, and I want to see students push to get the best grades they can. But I think equally, possibly more important, is what they do after they finish at school. Something meaningful, something future-proofed, a career that's not likely to be automated anytime soon, and a good destination career for them.
Ash, human-centric collaboration. It's a cornerstone of what Fujitsu's about. You've got a number of partnerships up and down the country within education already, haven't you?
We have. We're tremendously proud. We've got today 25 ambassadors. The program started in January 2015. That'll get to 30 shortly, and then we're going to do another 10 in Scotland. I think the power of the program, the collaboration, the community is sharing best practice, but it's also the outcomes of it. So it is about accessibility to technology, but it's also how do we accelerate from education to employment? How do we create those pathways? And I think for us, and we would encourage more organisations to do this, is through that collaboration we can identify talent early, and we can work with the institutions at an early age with the curriculum, and actually then start looking at what the needs of the industry are. And that works for both sides. It works for industry because we can start bringing in talent and hopefully start to sort of encourage people to come into the industries, tackle issues such as STEM, but also for the organisations themselves. There is exposure to a richness of employer resources, expertise, particularly around technology, that we can bring in and work in partnership with the institutions. And that, I think, for me, is the key outcome of all of this. Because technology, quite rightly, as the principals and the leaders here have said, is the enabling agent. Actually, the transformational ingredient is not the technology. The transformational ingredient is actually the institution.
You'll recall from Fujitsu Forum in November, where we had the South Devon College students over in Munich, the winners of the Operation Innovation. It's worth going and taking a look at that video. You can see firsthand their eyes light up with their achievement and being able to interact with technology. Final question for you all gentlemen. There'll be a lot of your colleagues and peers watching this today. Jonathan, we'll come to you first. If there's one message, one piece of advice to impart for them, what would it be?
Would be allow your students to fail. Give them those opportunities to fail and they will succeed.
Ash?
I think from an industry perspective, I would absolutely advocate go and put your toes in. Go to your local education institutions, offer them support, go and collaborate, and you'll see the rewards come back instantly. Just seeing those young people and giving them the opportunity, I think, will bring out aspirations and raise inspiration as well.
Dan?
I'm going to flip Ash's key message on its head, and I'm going to say that educational institutions need to do more. Gatsby benchmarks really is a starting point. What I found in my career at UTCs is when you contact industry partners such as Fujitsu and you ask for something like coming in and running a project with students, you will get way more green lights than you get red lights. So education establishments need to get out there to their local industry partners, start forming contacts and inviting people in, and they will come and they will enrich your curriculum no end.
Steve?
For me, it's about partnership and collaboration. I think, in my particular sector of FE, we are very underfunded, but having partners such as Fujitsu and our current employer bases, it really does make a difference. And the students you mentioned earlier that won the Operation Innovation competition, they've been inspirational to other students within the college, and we've seen a real change in their mentality and their ethics and their want to succeed. So that's really important, collaboration.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time this morning. If anyone out there has got any questions for any of the four gentlemen, or indeed you want to pick up on Dan's point and you want to talk to Fujitsu about coming in and running some of those initiatives, drop us a line on any of the social media channels and we'll connect you with Ash and get that set up. And hopefully we can see education continue to move forward so we can have more students coming out and pioneering and building stuff like Bloodhound. Thanks for watching.